Hey guys, Mike here, and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for coming back, and please subscribe if you haven't already today. I actually want to talk all about the brand new DLC fighter that was just announced for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate as part of the second Fighters Pass. It was announced on Friday, I believe, at the Game Awards, and that character was Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII, a character that I don't believe anyone called or saw coming. And I just wanted to sort of, put all my thoughts down and where I'm at with the final few characters and talk about all of that here. So I guess to start off with, to illustrate why Sephiroth is such a big deal to be in this game, I guess it's really interesting because he's definitely one of the most iconic villains in gaming ever. Certainly one of the most iconic Japanese gaming villains of all time. If you're unfamiliar with his origin, Sephiroth is the main villain from the Final Fantasy VII storyline, which is one of the most successful games in the Final Fantasy franchise that stars and has as the protagonist a character called Cloud. He is also known as the One-Winged Angel, and he's popped up in a bunch of other games as a secret boss, including the Kingdom Hearts franchise, where Sephiroth is one of the secret bosses and is really, really hard to defeat. Obviously, Final Fantasy is a Square Enix franchise, and I think it's really interesting that Sephiroth has gotten in here. And as someone who does follow Smash speculation really closely, I think I don't think I saw or heard anyone thinking that Sephiroth could possibly get in. So this is pretty remarkable for a few reasons. I guess the first thing that I think about this is that obviously Cloud, the hero character from Final Fantasy VII, was one of the DLC characters from the previous Super Smash Bros. Game, Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS. And then of course he was brought into the main roster for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And the fact that Cloud came in with only 2 songs as opposed to many other DLC characters who came with stacks and stacks of songs, and just one stage and things like that sort of made me think that like having a Final Fantasy character in Super Smash Bros. Was a really difficult thing to negotiate and wasn't very easy and wasn't something that necessarily Nintendo wanted to do again, which sort of adds more surprise to the fact that Sephiroth is in the game. As well as that, I don't think we've necessarily had any DLC characters that are from an existing series. If you put aside Piranha Plant, if we're looking at the Fighters Pass for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, we've got Joker from Persona 5, totally new series. We've then got the hero from Dragon Quest, again, new series, Banjo-Kazooie, its own series, and then, of course, Terry Bogard. We do have Byleth, who, there you go, that's a Fire Emblem character from an existing series. Min Min from ARMS, and of course Steve from Minecraft. So aside from Byleth, who is from Fire Emblem, one of the strongest Nintendo represented games, the first party series in Smash Bros., all of the other characters have been from fresh series. We haven't actually had villains from other series or anything like that. So this is the first time we're getting a villain as a DLC pick from a third party series that has an existing rep in the game. And I think that's really, really cool. It really makes me wonder, though, what this means for the rest of the Fighters Pass, because especially because no one really picked Sephiroth coming, and we've already now had the Dragon Quest hero, also a Square Enix character, and Sephiroth, a Square Enix character, and then Cloud as representatives for Square Enix in the game. I think a lot of people, a lot of Square fans, and a lot of Kingdom Hearts fans were hoping that Sora, the main character from Kingdom Hearts, might be a DLC pick. And I think that Sephiroth being confirmed kind of rules Sora out. I really don't see Sora, another Square Enix rep, being in the game now that Sephiroth's in. I didn't really ever have high hopes for Sora, though, anyway. Like, I didn't think that... I think he would be great in the game, and I'd love for him to be there, but I never really thought he had a chance because of the association with Disney, with Kingdom Hearts, and I just didn't think it was going to happen. I was actually really, really picking that it would be Crash Bandicoot at the Game Awards, and I still do think that Crash Bandicoot is going to be one of the final DLC characters in the game. At this point in time, it just feels like Crash is so relevant again. But he's also relevant to the history of Nintendo. He's relevant to a lot of the characters in the game, and it would just be great to have Mario, Sonic, Crash Bandicoot, Mega Man all in one game being able to fight it out, like all these 90s gaming mascots. So I really do feel like Crash will be there. I just have a hunch that he's going to be one of the last characters revealed, and I think that that would make a lot of sense, but I was surprised that he wasn't at the Game Awards. And any other Square Enix related character I think is pretty much ruled out now with Sephiroth being in the game. I don't think we're gonna get Geno from Super Mario RPG, which is a Square Enix title that everyone has really wanted Geno for a long time, but unfortunately I just don't see that happening now. I think Crash, as I said, is likely, and I really don't know. I think the fact that Crash 4 hasn't been released on Switch yet is a good sign, because they might be trying to coincide a Switch release of Crash 4 with Crash's reveal. That's my personal thoughts. Doomslayer, maybe. I'm really honestly not sure where to sit now, especially with Sephiroth coming out of the blue. But as for Sephiroth himself as a character, he looks awesome. And honestly, that CG trailer was probably one of the best ones they've had, and it was one of the best reveals they've had, just seeing all these characters in CG, seeing Cloud and Sephiroth fight in CG, because Cloud never had a CG reveal trailer when he was initially revealed, and so many references to the Final Fantasy VII franchise and the lore and Advent Children and all of that stuff, plus the amazing One Winged Angel track, which is one of the most iconic gaming tracks that started playing, and instantly you realized it was Sephiroth, and that shock reveal. And it really does feel like they're breaking down a lot of the fan-imposed rules of who can and can't be a fighter in Smash, because again, no one would have thought Sephiroth would get in because Cloud was in, and no one thought that Final Fantasy VII would get another rep, or Final Fantasy at all would get another rep, and here we are. So it just throws into the air what could possibly happen for the last few DLC fighters, and it's just getting really, really exciting. Aside from Banjo and Kazooie, who are a dream character that I have wanted in the game since the 64 days, Sephiroth is probably the next DLC fighter so far that I really, really like. I mean, I like all of them, and I'm always happy to see new characters, but and what I really like is there's such a wide range of characters. There's like a big net that sort of covers all areas of gaming. So Joker, I don't really resonate with too much because I haven't played Persona. Likewise for Dragon Quest. Like, I like all these characters, but the ones that personally stand out for me are Banjo-Kazooie and Sephiroth. All the others haven't really had any personal connection with me, especially Byleth. Obligatory Byleth hate mention in this video. I'm really interested to see how Sephiroth's range works. He's obviously known for having a really long sword, like a really, really long sword, so I'm interested to see how that works in-game. We've already got ranged characters in the DLC pass with Min Min from ARMS having really long-ranged attacks, so it'd be interesting to see how Sephiroth works as well. We also have the two Belmonts who have pretty long-ranged attacks as well. And also the mechanic of the one wing that comes out. It seems to be similar to the Joker's Persona ability, or even Cloud's limit gauge, something like that maybe charges up or activates in time, or even like Terry's go gauge. What we do know is most of the DLC characters do have some kind of gimmick, for lack of a better term, in how they play. For example, the arson gauge with Joker, or Terry's go gauge, or Banjo-Kazooie's 5 limit on the Wonder Wings, or Min Min's ability to swap arms and play really differently depending on the arms they use. So yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting to see how Sephiroth actually plays. And the coolest part about it is the release date is December 2020. So within the next 2 weeks, essentially, we will be able to play as Sephiroth, and then the speculation will start again. Overall, I think it is massive that Sephiroth is in this game. I think it is really shocking, really surprising, but really, really awesome. And I definitely didn't necessarily want him in the game, but I'm really, really happy that he's in the game. As I said, unfortunately, it kind of, for me, rules out Sora, and I would have loved to have seen Sora, but I didn't really expect to see him anyway. And as for one of my other picks, I did think that Waluigi was actually going to get in. I thought that Waluigi was probably going to be the final pick to get into the game. But now I'm kind of doubling back on that, and I'm not sure. But I do think, and I will lock in, that Crash Bandicoot will be in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate as a DLC pick. I still think that is definitely going to happen. Calling it here. Anyway, that is all my thoughts on Sephiroth being in Smash. I can't wait to play him. Let me know what you think and who you think is next in the comments. Subscribe to my channel. Check out my podcasts. They're on the screen here. One's a Harry Potter fan fiction podcast. One is just a podcast about me and my life. So if you like listening to my voice, you might like that one. Subscribe. Please subscribe. I'm building up a little viewership, and I really appreciate everyone who checks out some of my videos. I'm doing videos almost daily at the moment. So yeah, my name's been Radio Mike. I will catch you later.
But I went to run my hand through your hair and I noticed you were attached to string. You were a puppet this whole time, you were attached to string.